So welcome to episode 2, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us through episode 1 and on to episode 2. I can only hope it goes up from here.
It can't very well go down.
No, it can't. Another bish bash bosh around regular topics, and then an in-depth discussion on Batman and the Batman universe, because Alex has a raging hard on being the Man-Bat. So I think we should just crack on. Alex, I think you might have mentioned something about watching a film this week.
Yes, this week I've seen The Road.
Isn't that the Watterson film about the post-apocalyptic travel?
Yes, that's exactly the film. How did you know?
I like how we're all pretending that we didn't record this. It all failed terribly, and now we're recording it again.
Shut up! You break the magic of cinema.
It's okay though, because now we have little cues for laugh points. We know when we're supposed to, laugh.
Except for the tone of disdain with which we all have for repeating ourselves.
It was really good. I really liked it. I thought it was really effective. Next.
Anyway, ideally I would like to talk about both the book and the film, but I'm afraid I haven't read the book yet, so can't comment on that.
Charlotte, have you read the book?
Yes.
Would you like to help?
No. So
was it good?
The problem is, in the book, it is very unendingly gritty, and I was like, oh my god, just a knock joke, something. It's really hard to, if you're not looking at Aragorn's face going, that's a nice face, yeah, you have nothing to distract you, and I don't think I was in quite the right mindset for it.
That's kind of what I liked about the film. It's a completely hopeless world. Anything that's downbeat, I'm all over it. I wasn't even an emo teenager or anything. I just like that stuff. Okay, well, it's a post-apocalyptic world. The story focuses on these two characters, a father and son, traveling around trying to survive. And the dystopian setting was done extremely well. It's the sort of struggle to survive is constantly prevalent. The allegory the film portrays of the entire planet dying is these not only
like a ghost forest.
The emotion that I had throughout really was this horrible sense of hopelessness in everything. It's very, very bleak. So I would advise not watching it if you're at all sad.
Would you say it in any way, is it very stylized, or would you say it portrays a potentially realistic future? Book of Eli, for example, which I'm sort of is slightly similar, as in it's a post-apocalyptic world, it's full of gangs fighting over what's left.
What post-apocalyptic world isn't like that?
Yeah,
I mean, essentially that's what it would boil down to. If the world went tits up and we didn't have iPods anymore, we would all go around stabbing each other.
Denzel Washington has an iPod, actually.
Apple survives the Holocaust.
Yeah, Apple survives the Holocaust, exactly, and he trades cat fat for charge, as in battery charge. It's a good
That's not the question. That's not the question I had there when you said cat fat for charge. Mine was mostly about the first bit. What?
What do you mean, what?
Cat
I don't
fat?
really want to know where he got the cat fat from.
Lip salve and sunblock are violently important in post-apocalyptic culture, so he kills cats and drains their fat, turns it into lip salve.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, what I was trying to say was Book of Eli conjures sort of larger-than-life characters and heroes. Well, Viggo Mortensen's character, is he a big hero, or is he just an average Joe in this horrific world to live in? Is it gritty like that? I don't like that word, but
it's very down to earth indeed. That's what I think.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah, that's what I think makes the film good. More realistic that sort of setting it is, the more intense the feeling you get.
All right, so Charlotte, what have you been up to other than earning a crust and a cup?
That is genuinely all they pay me. They just pay me in crusts. They do think I'm a duck, though. I don't really know why. Sometimes people get that impression, like you walk into work and someone thinks that your name's something else and you can never quite bring it up. And sometimes that they happen to think you're an aquatic bird.
Is it the fact that you decided to take your calls in a duck pond and you paddle around most of the day?
Is there a bathtub filled with water set into the floor next to your desk?
Well, it wasn't before I arrived, but there is now.
Health and
Try and make me
safety.
feel at home. Health and safety. It's cordoned off. There's signs and everything. It's got that reflective tape on the edges.
That's all that matters, clearly. So what have you been doing?
I've been watching a Let's Play of Alice Madness Returns, which is a sequel to American Meets Alice. It's been very good. I can't actually play it because my laptop doesn't have that kind of speed. Let's Plays are kind of my way of vicariously living through other people and seeing what the game's like to play, but without any of that tedious having to press buttons.
Or buy anything.
I heard about this game and was wanted to play it. I was jealous of all these highbrow reviewers who get sent them for free to review them, and I can't afford it.
We're not angling for anything at all, but if anyone would like to send any free games or books or films, we're totally cool with that.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
we absolutely promise we will play them and review them.
Yes, if you want anything specifically reviewed by us, then give us the power to do so.
Yeah, and it's even better, if you want something reviewed well, send us a link for it, send us a free game, and also send us a bottle of wine. Anyway, in terms of the actual look of the game, it was pretty, not pretty, because mostly it was like dripping blood and flesh and bits of people, but pretty in a creepy way.
So it was stylized then.
It's got a look, and it keeps that look. And it is quite nice how when Alice goes into Wonderland at first, it's all very nice. And basically the story is there's a train of destruction weaving its way through Wonderland, destroying everything, and she's got to stop it. So as it gets further on in the game, the levels become correspondingly darker until it gets to the end where I actually think one of the levels you're trying to find the Queen of Hearts, who you're working your way down through an actual body.
Right.
You're walking through, not in the kind of Magic School Bus we've shrunk down to minuscule size, and now we're going to go and
watch the Magic School Bus.
yeah, love that program, but not in that kind of way, but in a way where everything's sort of representing the interior of
a little bit like inside Jabber Jabber Belly.
basically everything's just a bit squelchy. The story itself, that's really good as well. I do like the darker side of Alice. It's not a cheerful
That's
tale.
exactly what darker side is there to Alice in Wonderland, because not having read the book, the Disney version doesn't really seem very, very dark. I mean, the even the chopping off of the heads is done in a very light-hearted manner.
Even the Disney version, I find that really quite creepy, especially the bit at the end where she's walking through the Tolji Woods and they've got all the strange creatures and she's like, I just want to get home, and she can't. Not so much in the books because it isn't written in a way that's deliberately meant to scare, I don't think, but she is trapped in a world where nothing makes sense and everything's illogical.
Yeah, because you don't have any control. If everything is different and constantly changing, then you don't have any foreknowledge of what to expect, and
Everything's messed up. So with the game, you add to that a giant knife with which you stab enemies, and you add some enemies, and then you add a paedophile, and it does add up to quite a creepy game.
yeah, it definitely sounds it. Oh god. Yeah, Dead Space didn't have pedophiles, guys.
It also didn't have horror, but
Anyway, back to Alice. Yeah, I really like stylized graphics because there's so many different things you can do with them, and to be honest, the sort of really high end graphics of games, even though they are excellent today, they still are not good enough because they do fall in the Uncanny Valley. There's a bit sort of glossy and rubbery and creepy. But, even if you have something as basic as like Metal Slug, that game looks amazing and it is immersive because of how well the graphics are done, even though they're not realistic.
with Alice Madness Returns, it doesn't seem like a game. It seems like quite a story-driven game. The story in the first game is that Alice's parents and her sister died in a fire and she doesn't remember how it started, she doesn't remember what happened, she's in the mental asylum. In the second one, she's got out of that, she's in therapy in an orphanage and still trying to come to terms with it. Essentially, throughout it, she has to go through and she collects memories as she goes through the levels to try and build the story up in her head.
Yeah, sounds good. I certainly didn't know it was quite that dark. So I thought I always imagined Alice to be this sort of character in sort of based in a safe world, but having these adventures and always having somewhere to come back to, even if she is forced to go through this adventure before she can get back to that safe place.
Yeah, I think it's very linked in together. Like it is her escape. She does escape in her mind to Wonderland. Unfortunately, her mind's fucked.
Oh, shit.
So's Wonderland.
So it's kind of like Sucker Punch in that respect.
Yeah, I watched that the other day as well, but I didn't want to talk about it. I was drunk and I cried of it.
Oh,
We need to not get drunk so much.
That's
So,
a very,
Sucker
very
Punch.
bad attitude.
I was very, very drunk, and I don't think I remember all of it. Ross, did I fall asleep?
No.
Then why don't I remember what happened in the end?
Because not much happened in
something quite important happened in the end.
Oh no, I remember. No, I did stay awake for all of it.
Is there something else you'd like to talk about?
Nope, I'm done. Stick to the one thing.
the end. I refuse to introduce myself.
All the best comedians introduce themselves.
Please make welcome to the stage Bill Bailey in Bill Bailey's voice.
That makes it sound like he's starring in a kind of amateur theatre production.
So yes, Ross, please do talk about what you've been doing this week.
A couple of nights ago, I finally got around to watching Trainspotting. This is something I have been sorely missing in my life. I just haven't got around to watching it at any point, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. A very right balance of sort of, I don't want to say action, stuff happening. Things happen in this film. What is a film? Things on the screen happen around, people say things, and it's all about heroin. But in the same light, it's not, drugs are bad, man, don't take drugs. But it's also not, look at all the shit we can do on drugs. It's very much a nice down-the-middle balanced view, as it shows you McGregor's character as a smackhead, then not as a smackhead, then making thousands of pounds off being a smackhead.
What did you think about the scene where the baby crawls on the ceiling?
That's the one scene I remember. You
I
don't forget a baby crawling on the ceiling.
No,
No.
you do not.
I was violently disturbed by the image of dead baby in the cot. I knew it was coming. The minute they showed a baby in a smack house, I was like, well, it's going to die. And then it died, and then I got quite disturbed by the image of it in a cot. The image of it crawling on the ceiling, I was like, oh yeah. It didn't affect me as much because it wasn't as real.
The baby crawling on the ceiling and falling on Ewan McGregor's face terrified me to my very soul, and then I had a nightmare about it. So
I
I
was
think
more terrified about the fact he turned over and found Robert Carlyle in his bed. So yeah, that's what I'm watching. We'll talk about one of the games, the game I'm playing. You know what? When this game came out, I thought it was going to be pretty good, and then I saw that it was £17 when it came out new, and I'm not going to pay anything more than a £5 for it. And then I downloaded it, and I have nearly finished it in 2 sittings. It's called From Dust. Have either of you heard of it?
The Kim and Aggie story.
Took me a second to get that then. It's basically just an elaborate puzzle game, but done so well. It is fantastic. You follow this Aboriginal tribe, and the idea is you're supposed to be guiding them to their ancestral lands, and you take control of this thing, the breath, which is the breath of life. Basically, it's the force of nature, and you have to take these villagers to a village, colonize it, and then protect it from the elements. And the only thing you can do in order to protect it from the elements is change the landscape around them. So you pick up, put down earth, water, and lava in various combinations, and you basically just have to occupy a certain amount of the land to complete the level, and then get all your, like lemmings, get all your villagers to the end point, and then you go on to the next level. My God, has it done well. It's exceptionally beautiful. If you harken back to 2003, Black and White 2 came out, and I jumped on that. Regret.
Funny you should mention that, because from everything I heard about From Dust, I haven't played it, but I had in my mind that it was going to be very, very similar gameplay style to Black and White and Black and White 2.
It's very similar to Black and White in the extent that you shape the world, but if you absolutely everything about having any interaction with the people or the creature, then that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I like the aspect of it being a puzzle.
Well, yeah, because the puzzle is you have to get these group of vulnerable people into safety, and then to 2 or 3 other village sites, and whilst protecting them from the elements. So if there's a volcano in the middle, you need to scoop up a load of lava, build a rock wall to direct the lava into a pool of water, so that the lava turns to rock when it hits the water. It's a puzzle game, but very elaborately presented. It's very good and well worth the money. Not worth £12, which is what its retail price is on Steam at the moment.
I wonder if the price of games is subjective there, depending on the person. So...
Well, it's depending on how much you value each pound you're spending on. Because, for example, I bought Command & Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath, and Command & Conquer 4 for £12, and I've spent nearly 50 hours playing the 3 of them. So you can work out pound per hour. I spent £25 on Shogun 2, and I played nearly 100 hours of it. So I got the pound per hour for that. But there have been games like Greed Court I spent £3 on, I played 40 minutes of, and I've never touched again. So I rate a game value with the Cap V as how many hours I play of it until I'm either finished with it or bored with it per pound, which has got nothing to do with its quality, but that's how I'd say whether something's worth getting. Because Modern Warfare 3 may well be critically reviewed as an excellent game, but there's no way in hell I'm paying £30 for it.
Yes, I probably wouldn't buy it at all. So retail price $34.99. Not very accurate where I'm coming from.
Well, Modern Warfare 2 is still £25, and that's nearly 3 years old, which is a bit of a joke. But anyway, we digress. So that's what we've been doing this week. We've got a couple of things. Simon Pegg has just started doing a new film, because his mum said he should, and it's called A Fantastic Fear of Everything, and it's a psychotic take on With Nail and Art, apparently, in which Simon Pegg plays like a housebound recluse who's full of paranoia and OCD and agoraphobia and sociophobia and all these sort of phobias, things like that. And he's doing it because the article I was reading said, Mum said I'm quite a good actor, so I should probably do something that is a little bit more engaging. It's like, fair enough, because everybody loves Hot Fuzz and the Cornetto trilogy whenever the one comes out, but I think it's pretty good. But his mum obviously doesn't. So I'm looking forward to that. And here comes another connection, Simon Pegg, to Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is having a toe-in on a project called Sightseers, which is a new follow-up film from Ben Wheatley from his last film, which quite a lot of people I know have said is brilliant, Kill List. But I've never seen. I didn't really hear anything about it until it had been out for a couple of months and everyone started saying how good it was. But Ben Wheatley has written this story about 2 caravanners who sort of is like a romantic story about how they fall in love and through their love of caravanning grow closer and decide that quite a lot of things irritate them and quite a lot of those things are people, so they kill them. Okay. So this is about caravanning and killing.
I think we've got an idea for the next Top Gear special.
And I very much enjoy things that try and combine benign and murder, so I should definitely be seeing Sightseers.
Like Rubber.
Yes, exactly, like Rubber. Take a tyre, add some pretension and art, and then murder things. So yeah, that's my news. Alright, well, Perky Perkison, you with the face, it's time for your quiz. I have indeed written a quiz for you, Charlotte, and we fully expect you to cheat, but I'd appreciate it. But whatever. How am I going to know? How am I going to stop you? So, you ready? Question 1. Alex was talking a lot about The Road earlier, and Viggo Mortensen, the man whose name has a in the middle of it, because I don't know how to say it, so it's Viggo Mortensen. His character in The Road was called Man. He has no other name. I was wondering, I am asking you, for 1 point, can you name 3? For 2 points, can you name 5 other films that Viggo Mortensen has been in that are not Lord of the Rings films?
What? That's not fair. I could get at least 3 points by just naming three Lord of the Rings films. Give me a good reason why I can't say Lord of the Rings.
Because I said so when I
That's not fair.
Test.
I at least need.
I couldn't get that one either.
I at least need a reasonable reason why not.
All right, okay. Put it this way. You can have 2 points for naming 3 instead of naming 5 then.
I still don't see why I can't say Lord of the Rings.
Because? Come on, he's Viggo Mortensen. He's that guy.
What?
He's done shit.
Thing.
We've already mentioned one in this fucking podcast.
Wait, sorry. Are we allowed to count The Road?
Yes, that's one.
There was that one where he was. Oh
On
my
a
god!
film.
I can see the trailer in my head. I can see the trailer in my head. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on The Road as well, which just makes it really confusing.
Yes,
But
he is.
does that count?
Yeah, you can have that. It's in post-production, so it's been made. There are only 3 other films that I would have been able to name off the top of my head that he's in, and I've only seen one of them. You've already got 1.5 points. Just need one more. What's the thing in the trailer then? See if we can get it. What was the thing in the trailer?
The one where he's in a diner and there's guns, and that's all I remember because I've not seen the film. He's in a diner and there's guns.
Oh, I know.
And
Oh, that wasn't one I was going to say. I'm going to have to hurry you.
Can I come back to it later?
Yes, fine. You can come back to it later. Okay, question
Oh my
2.
God, that's going to annoy me for the entire time now. Yeah.
Was it A History of Violence?
Fuck you.
Was that the film you were thinking of?
Yeah, but I'm not going to get the point now, am I?
Oh, yeah. Shit. You can edit that out and just say it anyway. I thought you were going to cheat on all of them, so I made the questions a little bit harder.
You just have a bad opinion of me. And yes, I would cheat if my computer was fast enough, but it's not. Anyway, no, I'm not gonna cheat on it. I cheated at Trivial Pursuit and I cheat at Monopoly.
Oh, did you cheat at Trivial Pursuit last weekend?
No, but only because I was drinking.
Yeah, I didn't cheat at all either. Anyway, right, on with the quiz. Question 2.
Thanks, guys. I still laugh.
We have just been discussing Wes Anderson, director, and for 2 points, can you name the popular animated film that he made in the last 5 years?
Oh no, all I've got in my head is Wes Craven, and that's not the same guy at all, is it?
No.
And now I've got Wes Knight. I've never. Sorry, say animated film.
Yeah, animated film. Wes Anderson directed. If you want to take the clue, I will tell you who the main star was.
Do I get less points if I take the clue?
Yeah, you only get 1 point if you take the clue.
Oh, can you make it like a harder clue and then just take off a half point?
No.
No, how recent is recent?
2009.
That doesn't count as a clue. That's just a year. I
I
will kick you in the face.
I'm sorry. I can't. When I'm quizzing people, I have to sing a little quiz theme tune. If we had the copyright for it, I'd be playing the diddle 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 doo.
It's Wes Anderson. Was it Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Again, that was because I remember going to see it, and I remember thinking Wes Craven did this, and then getting really fucked up in my head. But no, it was.
Okay.
Just fail, but I can imagine.
On to question 3. Trailer recently came out for a film starring Michelle Yeoh and David Thewlis called The Lady. And this is a biopic of Aung San Suu Kyi, the Burmese democratic rights activist.
Please don't ask where Burma is or where the Burmese people are from, because I'm terrible at
Well, the
geography.
question I was going to ask you was what is the democratic movement's animal symbol on their flag? But I think what I'll ask you instead is who directed The Lady? I can hear typing.
All right.
Panda?
That
That
better be
wasn't me.
Alex.
That's me.
Again, I'm just going to say it was a panda, because I don't know.
No. I said I was going to ask you the animal.
No, I know.
But instead I'm going to ask you who directed the film.
Yeah, I know. My answer is still a panda.
Okay, it's not a panda. Would you like the clue?
Yeah.
He also directed Transporter and Crank.
Lol.
I know, right?
Someone directed those? I thought they just came into being.
Yeah, apparently having Jason Statham hobnobbing grannies at the races required some sort of direction.
Let's just say casual Saturday for him.
I've never seen either of those films.
Transporter's pretty good. Crank's funny as fuck.
Jason Statham's mom? I don't know.
It was Luc Besson
Well, yes, it was just on the tip of my tongue to say Luke Bessel.
All right, on to question 4. Owing that our proper topic of the day of the podcast is going to be Batman, these next 2 questions are Batman themed. For 2 points, 1 point each, can you name the 2 original creators of Batman?
I didn't know it was created by 2 people. I didn't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 original
No,
comic artists.
Did I? Get the fuck out of my head, Stanley. It's just in my head.
I am Stanley. I created all the comics.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what you think. He basically just pops along and goes, no, actually.
Worship me, nerds. I am your king.
It's that bit in Big Bang Theory where Sheldon gets his Batman issue #1 signed by Stan Lee just for the hell of it, because nobody else will have one.
So was the question that you only need 1 creator?
So-
There are 2. There's an artist and a writer, and you get 1 point for the artist, 1 point for the
Are
writer.
we talking like proper original Detective Comics number 27, original Batman?
Yes.
I want to say one of them is called Finger, but I don't know if first name or if that is a first name or if that's a.
Is that just
I'm looking at my hands.
sexual
So
undertone?
yeah, possibly. No, I want to say that's one of their surnames, but I have no idea on the one. I don't even know if I'm right on that. Get the fuck out of my head, Stanley.
Get a restraining order. All right, well, you get 1 point for Bill Finger.
Cool.
The other one was Bob Kane.
I would
Bob
never
Kane.
have got that.
Bob
Alright.
Kane was the only one I knew because his name appears at the beginning of every single Batman episode. So I've seen his name about 200 times recently. So
All right,
Yeah, I just remember he's got a hilarious name, Bill Finger. So
here we go. The last question. Chance to make up some points at the end. During the several different incarnations of Batman there have been since 1937, there have been, and I have a list from Wikipedia, this is the list that I'm going from. If there are others, then I apologise, but 6 vehicles of the Bat prefix. For 2 points, name 4.
well, there's the Batmobile.
Yep.
Can I just name a bunch of random?
Some of them have specific names.
We're talking about like actual vehicles.
Yeah.
Bat unicycle.
If only. Oh my God.
Bat unicycle was definitely one.
No, I'm not talking about when Adam West suddenly decided he was going to take a folding deck chair and attach some sort of Da Vincian-like helicopter attachment to it and called it the Bat Deck Copter or something like that. These are like things that have had reoccurring.
I'm pretty sure there was a Bat cycle. I don't think it was a.
There was.
unicycle.
The Bat Cycle is another one. So you've already
Yeah.
got 1 point. You need 2 more.
And Bat boat. There's got to be a
Bat Boat. Yeah, there's a Bat
But
Boat.
like Gotham's not exactly seaworthy. I'd also go for a bat plane just on the basis of planes.
Ooh, Bat Plane. All right. Yeah, you can have that. For a bonus point, can you tell me the Bat Plane's other name?
We just called him Graham.
the intensity of trying to guess these answers is incredible.
Take this shit seriously.
I'm very sorry. Had I known you genuinely weren't just going to cheat all over the place, I thought that was going to be like a comedy thing. You'd already get 10. I would have actually not been so harsh. Because you get to win.
If we end up having listeners, then the majority of them will probably be nerds, and Charlotte's probably trying to prove her nerdiness to them.
She's a bigger nerd than us. She loves comics, dude.
I know
She
she's not.
has comics.
No, I will have comics, but I tried to get them redelivered to the post office, and the post office is all like, "I'm sorry, they've not arrived." And I'm like, "Oh my god, where the hell are they?"
We
They're
are open
lost.
on.
I'm not joking. They're lost somewhere between the depot, which is Madeley, which is where I live, and Telford, which is where I work and where I wanted to pick them up from. It's 15 minutes, and somewhere there is comics, and I need it.
Yes, post office opening hours tend to be we're open on the spring equinox for 6 minutes and never again. And then it disappears in on itself and phases back into another reality.
Yeah.
You know
Sorry,
when,
what
like,
were we
Planet-
talking about? What was the question again?
What was the other name for the bat plane?
Oh, I
Was it
thought
a
you were
bat
gonna...
thing?
Yes, it was the Batwing.
Well done. Well done.
Okay, so we go back to the original question. You still have to name one more Viggo Mortensen film.
You told me it, and I don't know any other one. Lord
I
of the
did-
Rings.
All right, fine. There we go. So that was 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 10. Well done.
Yeah.
Stunned silence.
So, Batman.
Batman. I'll stop doing that voice. I don't think The Dark Knight was very good. I think it was only good because of Heath Ledger. And I also
Well-
think that because Heath Ledger topped himself, the film suddenly became this zeitgeist that got him awards left, right and centre. Don't get me wrong, I thought he was good in it, but I think if he was alive, he wouldn't have been as good in it. Honestly, I genuinely think that
Oh dear.
he
He
died.
was alive. He was alive while he was making it, though. I'm pretty sure that did have an effect. If
I-
he'd have been dead when he was filming it, it would have been a bit shit.
El Cid fought a battle whilst dead, for crying out loud. I think Heath Ledger could have filmed the rest of the film.
There's an episode of the animated series where Hugo Strange makes Batman think everyone's a zombie. He would have been perfect for that, but otherwise, no.
All right, how about this for a topic episode? How much better would The Dark Knight have been if Heath Ledger had been a zombie?
Oh.
And I don't mean the Joker, I mean Heath Ledger. A zombie as in the Walking Dead style zombie.
No, wait, no. If you're talking about Batman, then you've got, because you would also be therefore saying, yeah, how much better would Brokeback Mountain have been if Heath Ledger was a zombie? I feel like you've either got to be specific to the film, or we've got to reevaluate every single film he's ever been in.
Knight's Tale, that 10 something I hate.
10 things I hate about you.
Yeah, isn't that a Shakespeare play?
It's based on a Shakespeare play. It wasn't called 10 Things I Hate About You.
No, I realised that.
It was The Taming of the Shrew.
Thank you. I watched the opening credits of that and went, what font is this? Turned it off. Genuinely, the font was irritating.
Also, if Heath Ledger was a zombie, surely he would have turned Jake Gyllenhaal into a zombie after having to kiss him.
They did
which means that we then have to go back and reevaluate all Jake Gyllenhaal films, like
it was
Donnie Darko.
Does he kiss anyone in Donnie Darko?
No, but he was in Donnie Darko.
So Jake Gyllenhaal, Donnie Darko.
Well, a lot of people hated that film and thought his acting was stiff as a wooden plank. So maybe it would have improved it. But I love Donnie Darko, so not in my opinion.
Have you seen the sequel?
Oh my
No.
god!
I wouldn't touch that with a pointy stick.
Do not. It's a road film.
It's a road film, and the music is worse. It's set in a different era, so the music is like 10 times worse. And the girl that plays Samantha Darko is the girl that plays Samara in the American version of The Ring. So I just get shivers every time.
You mean it's Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, isn't it?
No, Maggie Gyllenhaal is the one who plays his other sister, his older sister in film.
She's in S. Darko, though.
No, she's not.
Oh.
It's crap. What's her name? Davy Chase. Also, the
That's
girl that did
Samara.
the voice. Yeah. Also, the girl that did the voice for Spirited Away.
Oh, cool. The American version.
Apparently, all she does is just take Asian cinema and update it.
Brianna Evigin, or Evigin, or whatever her name is the other one. Who's in S. Darko. She's been in nothing, absolutely nothing of importance. Who's the guy? James Lafferty. Iraq Jack. Is that? Do I know you from somewhere? One Tree Hill. 177 episodes. That's never anything to be like. That's
too many episodes.
Ashamed of.
Let me tell you the entire extent of my knowledge of One Tree Hill. I'd never seen it, and I happened to be flicking through the channels when it came on. And there's a guy on the verge of tears in a basketball outfit, and he's saying to his coach, "You have to tell me right now why basketball matters, or I am leaving right now." And
that's the only one I've seen as well. I swear it's the only one that's made.
That is the only episode. They just repeat it 177 times.
Just with maybe different basketball outfit, for a different season. Does
And
basketball have seasons?
Yes.
Is it like football where they have to change it every year?
Yes.
Is it played on ice joke again, or is it too late?
Oh dear.
The one where you score goals. They're all the one where you score goals.
You score juices. Yeah, and you.
Why, you dunking oranges?
Or snorting oranges. What was I going to say? It was mildly related to the topic we're supposed to be talking about as well. I was trying to steer it back in the other direction. Then I started playing with a lump of muscle underneath my leg, commonly known as my calf. And now I'm happy like a child again. And then the crushing reality of my life comes back and destroys my happiness. And then I'm back.
Such are the laws of entropy.
What? That everything eventually dies. Do you know you guys are making me miss Independence Day for this?
You must have seen it before.
We did a media studies project for it in year 10. I've seen the opening 30 seconds of that show, that film, probably about 1,000 times. And that's probably not even an exaggeration. Fucking Mrs. Fletcher. I can even tell you bit by bit what happens.
How long has it been playing for? I can probably tell you where it's at the moment.
Hour and 20 minutes. I predict around about by this point is the scene. It's 2 hours and 10 long, I think. I think by now you have seen the scene where the alien goes nuts in the lab and holds the guy up against the glass and talks to him.
I think there'll be a bit where the president's wife's catching it.
Oh, you mean? Oh Christ! What's her name? Alex. What's her name?
That's in the thing.
President Rosalind, dude.
Oh, no, I don't know the actress's name, but I know who you mean.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Everybody pause your lives till I finish looking this up.
We should upload that photo. You cannot resolve remote host alien mothership photo to the show notes or something.
Yeah, where did she get that? It was Mary McDonald, by the way.
I can't remember. She's always really good, actually.
Yes.
She usually plays the same type of character, but she's really good.
Through most of Battlestar, she does just look like she's going to cry, though. And then she cries a lot, so it's fine.
No, she doesn't. She hardly ever cries. She's really good at portraying a strong woman.
She cries a lot in season 4 after the dinosaurs attack, and
That's because she's, like, close to...
Alex, No spoily.
Sorry, I stopped myself.
She's close to. The first thing that comes to mind is climax. I never want to see Mary McDonald. So Batman, right? Do you want to just have an entire 55-minute section not talking about Batman, apart from one of us says "so Batman," and then we talk about something completely different?
We should
I think
still-
it will. I think it will make up for the first half where we're all like, "So a thing happened, but I'm really going to talk about it."
I liken my commentary on the first section to Melville from Office Space. Just like,
yeah, I love
you
Mel.
we're here, and then you said that I could have on our office, but now you haven't, and now I'm.
But it took my stapler.
And
My
when the
stapler.
stapler back, like I could just start a fire. Fucking brilliant! I love that film.
Yeah, but if we don't talk about Batman, we should still title this Batman.
The one where we don't talk about Batman. So Batman.
Yeah, everybody has to say it at least once. So Alex, you have to say it again at some point later on.
Yeah, but not
Okay.
straight away. Not straight away. You've got to time it. Timing
Right.
is everything.
How about we do one of those things where one of us says one word after the other, and we go in alphabetical order and see what Batman-related story we can come up with. So Alex says "in," and then Charlotte says "the," and I say "beginning," and then we carry on. How about we do that?
I feel like we've already been primed now. I feel like this is a Darren Brown mind sort of thing, and you've said those words in a specific way.
I'm Darren Brown. I'm going to touch my face a lot and stand on an office block, shout a number at this woman at the end of the street. She's going to turn around and guess the lottery numbers for the next 3 years. But she's not going to play it because it's all a game, and I'm not going to let her win the money.
Oh my god, I can't get off my seat, Darren, you bastard!
Yes, that was just chi channeling. It's so bloody easy. People are doing it for thousands of years.
Go on then.
He's an up what chi channeling.
Yeah, go on.
You have to do it on yourself.
Well, what's the point in that?
What he did was he made you do it on yourself. It's a part of martial arts where you think yourself heavy or you think yourself strong. It apparently works.
Yeah, but I can't even think myself thoughts, let alone think myself anything else.
It's a really, really simple way of like getting off to sleep if you can't, is you start thinking about the tips of your toes being like really, really heavy, and you spend about 30 seconds on your toes, and then you move up to your feet, and then slowly along your ankles, things like that. Just thinking about everything feeling heavier and heavier, and like pulling yourself down through the bed, things like that. And you'll fall asleep before you get to your hips.
Did he actually succeed in sticking people to their couches at all?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, because people are gullible sheep. And they do not view the entire world with a vicious sense of cynicism like I do.
I was really disappointed that I wasn't stuck to my seat. Okay, I sat there going, yeah, I'm going to be stuck, and then I got up to make a cup of tea, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, but you know T is more powerful than Darren Brown.
True, but T doesn't try and take money from me and fool me into thinking that he's given me.
No, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was quite excited, and even though I know that I have a cynical black heart of coal, I still wanted it to work, and I just stood up, and it was disappointing.
Yeah.
you know, it's perfectly reasonable to think that had Frodo just put a brew on and dropped the ring in tea, it would have melted, because tea is the strongest thing known to man. Especially the tea my dad makes. It's like, yeah, let's put 3 tea bags in 1 cup.
T did kill Bruce Wayne's parents.
It did. Tea held them up for drugs money and shot them.
Topical.
Indeed.
I'm confused. How did T kill Bruce Wayne's parents?
Just by being.
Right.
You know the guys who shot his parents, Batman's parents, the robber.
Joe
He's-
Chill.
Yeah, he has a character name, doesn't he?
Yeah, his name is Joe Chill.
I was just going to make a point along that. I don't know where I heard the information, but there's something about that name has some significance.
I did a tiny bit of research on his backstory because I didn't know much about him, and I wanted to check whether Batman.
By
taught him-
research, do you mean you just read the Wikipedia entry?
Exactly.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of ambiguity with that character as well. I mean, one of them has Batman hunting him down, and then his own goons gunning Joe Chill to death because they realise that he essentially created Batman. And others, they have Joe Chill running off and being captured by the police the same night he murders the parents. So,
And Nolan has Joe Chill disappearing into the mythos forever, and Batman being created by a combination of Ken Watanabe and Liam Neeson.
well, no, to be fair, I think Nolan did a pretty good job of Joe Chill's character because remember,
I don't remember him actually in Batman Begins.
God, I keep forgetting his name. Christian Bale. He takes a gun to the courtroom and tries to kill him.
Oh yes, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, it's the only sort of consistent, well, relatively consistent theme seems to be that Bruce Wayne doesn't get any sort of vengeance satisfaction from Joe Chill, because even if Joe Chill dies or gets put away, it's not him, is it? So
in the Dark Knight, Eric Roberts plays the mob boss, beginning with C, Falcone. Plays Falcone. Is there any connection between Joe Chill and
John
Falcone?
Payne? What?
No. Would you kindly answer my question? Fine, just leave dead air. Did you
Sorry,
hear what I
what?
said?
No, I did not. No, I didn't. Sorry. Didn't
Is there
realise
any
you were there.
connection? Is there any connection between Joe Chill and Falcone and his men? Like, is Joe Chill just some? I mean, I assume this will be in the comics somewhere. But is he just some random gunman, or at any point is he linked back in with another faction? I'm just using Falcone to represent the underground, as it were.
Okay. Well, yeah. I've heard of one storyline where Joe Chill was actually an assassin for like a mid-level crime boss.
Whenever you say crime boss, I just think of Fisk from the Spider-Man series.
It's because he was the best crime boss known to man.
He was a perfect sphere.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't in the cartoon I watched.
And then they go into detail into explaining how he's actually like 95% muscle instead of fat, and then he sort of punches Spider-Man in the chest and he flies across the room. So it's like, oh yes, I do have some sort of meta superhuman powers.
And a pimp cane. And then for sort of flashy, well, actually, I don't know. Is it racist to say that it was another fail of the Daredevil movie to make him black?
No, Daredevil failed all on its own.
Yeah, no, it did. It failed on every count. Most notably the fact that it spawned another film. Do not mention its name. If you say it 3 times, it will appear and drain more of my bank account, because I do actually own that film.
Are you?
I'm referring to the spin-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't make me say it.
I don't know.
The film where snakes come out of a man's tattoos.
Yes, and an eagle and a bear.
Yeah.
No, I don't know which film we're talking about.
It's Jennifer Garner as a superhero. That's all you need to know.
What?
I think we're going to have to say it.
It's Elektra.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to make you say it.
Troll in the dungeon.
I only got it when you said Jennifer Garner, though. But
It's more worse. It's Jennifer Garner in red leather. Anyway. And there's also a fight scene in a hedge maze, which I'm pretty sure The Shining had down to a T and never needed to be done again.
The Shining had that scene. No, that was one of the worst parts of The Shining, I thought.
That was the joke, dude.
Oh, okay.
Especially Jack Nicholson's face after he gets frozen.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was supposed to be like a really unsettling moment, and it just brought me right out of the film.
Exactly. Speaking of Jack Nicholson, he was in the first of the new series of the middle series, of Batman films.
we will drag it back.
Yeah, we will. He was the Joker in the '89 Batman film.
We are literally wrestling like a bear with this topic, trying to keep it under control.
He was the only person out of the entire cast of the film to get any nominations for any wins for that any awards. Jack Nicholson got a nomination for a Golden Globe and a BAFTA for Best Supporting Actor. And Danny Elfman got a Grammy for the theme tune, which, well done, Danny Elfman, you slow child of the family, for all the musical directors in the film world. It's just like that bit in Family Guy in Blue Harvest when, who is it? One of them kills John Williams, and after they're doing the brilliant piece on Tatooine. And then Chris is like, oh god damn it, now we've got to get Danny Elfman in, and then it's like playing the breakfast theme from, what's that film? Not Clockwork Orange, the other one with Edward Scissorhands. All right, none of you contribute to anything I'm saying, then.
I kind of lost. I lost where the point was going halfway through, and then I just got confused.
It wasn't a point. I was just connecting things back to Batman. And
you know that scene where Jack Nicholson asks for the mirror after his plastic surgery.
Yes.
And he's like, the mirror, and then he sees his face and he laughs and he smashes the mirror.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was originally Two-Face's scene.
It would make more sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they call him Two-Face.
Why?
Because he's only got half a face. But half face doesn't sound as much
I thought
like
it was more
a
to do
turn of
with
phrase.
I thought it was more to do with the coin flip.
Isn't
I thought it was
double
more to do with his personality. He was two-faced before he became Two-Face.
Is the coin he has two-faced, or is it just a normal coin?
All
He
coins-
scraps the shit up. Sorry, no, I mean as in two heads, a double-headed coin.
Yeah, but that would be two-headed. Then they would call him two-head, and then it would just be a massive euphemism the entire time.
And then
be
he'd have
walking
to join the Fast and the Furious franchise because
he'd be walking into the criminal underground. And they were going, "Hey, two-head," and it would just be jokes all over the place. And he'd be like, "Guys, just take it seriously.
All the
I
other
killed a
super-
guy.
all the
Totally
other
killed a
super-
guy."
burst into laughing around him, and he wouldn't be able to get anything done from crippling embarrassment.
You say wouldn't get anything done. It makes me imagine sat at an office desk trying to do his tax return, and all the other like mob bosses are coming in, like the Joker and the Riddler, and just pushing his papers around, just like bullying him like some nerd in high school.
And again, he's all, "Don't touch paper, it's paper." Mr. Ibu. Why didn't we just make this about Office Space?
Yeah, to be honest, the scene when they beat the shit out of the printer is pretty badass.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And
Hey
it's
man, you
to
want to come over? No thanks, man. Don't you fuck it up my life too.
Has anyone ever said to you, you got a case of the Mondays? And then the guy who looks exactly like Charlotte name, Kevin Smith, My Name is Earl, moustache, the devil in...
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee. Looks exactly like Jason Lee, says, shit, no, that's fucking rough. Or something to that extent.
Yeah,
I did like that.
he was a really good character actually.
And then Mos Def turns up near the end.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Mos Def.
Who was
he's
Def
the,
in that
he's,
film?
he's the recovering crack addict selling the magazines.
Oh, is that Mos Def?
I think so. I might have just been racist, so...
Well, are you
I
sure?
like the way that when last time we were discussing, we got Jason Schwartzman and Jason Bateman confused. And we were like, oh, it's that guy. No, it's the other one. The minute I get one black guy confused with Mos Def, I'm like, shit.
Dude, he was the guy who was in Evolution alongside David Duchovny.
More importantly, he was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What for? What character?
He wasn't Zaphod, because that was Sam Rockwell, which
Mos
still...
Def he was Ford.
Ford, that's the one. Ford Prefect. Yeah.
But he wasn't in Office Space, I just Wikipedia'd it.
Oh, who's in the one in Office Space then? Because he is very familiar.
I don't know, because unfortunately they just have a list of names and they don't have in brackets black guy next to them.
IMDb. Sorry.
You know what?
I'll stop being
No, I'm
very
sorry.
racist.
We're not representative, all right? We've managed to get, there's a girl here, so we're kind of on a gender equality, but unfortunately we have no minorities.
Yeah, we don't.
I mean,
Alex
we're
is
all
Irish.
we're all slightly ginger, but
Hey, it's Orlando Jones. That's his name. He was the one in Evolution. Who's racist now, Alex?
What?
He was the actor in Evolution that you thought was Mos Def.
No, I was referring to the guy who was in Office Space.
Who
Not
was
Mos
it?
Def.
Oh,
So-
okay. My bad.
I don't know if it's racist to just get people confused. Like,
Well, I think it is if like the primary way you're trying to identify them is because they are black.
I find it so funny that on his IMDb page, the only thing listed under trivia is a vegan. Just nothing else. Like at that point, everyone went, I'm not writing anything more about this dick. He's a vegan.
Vegans have superpowers.
They do.
God, I love Scott Pilgrim.
back to Batman.
Right, yeah, I did actually have an original point. Yeah, they seem to change a lot of stuff onto the Joker in that film. Like Joker killed Bruce Wayne's parents instead of Joe Chill, didn't he?
Oh, really? I don't remember that from the first
What, in the film?
Yeah,
Which film?
98.9 Batman.
the one with Jack Nicholson, and that was before he was just a mugger then, and then later he became the Joker.
I didn't realise.
So like he was still just a mugger at the time, but it was the same guy who was. I'm pretty sure.
What's the Joker's actual name?
In that it was Jack something.
Nicholson.
Incidentally, that Batman, that 1989 Batman, is the most successful of all of the Batman films.
Oh God.
Yeah, it had a budget
In
of
terms of
in financially. It had a budget of 35 million, and in its first weekend, it made 42 million. So that's 120% of its budget in a weekend. All of the others, like Batman Returns, 38%, Batman Forever, 53%, Batman and Robin, 34%, Batman Begins, 33%, Dark Knight, 85%. So it's like everyone went, "Oh, holy shit, Batman!" and then they left going, "Oh shit, Batman."
Oh, it was Jack Napier. That was his name in the film.
I don't like
But-
Napier.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, the reason why I bring it up is because even though that scene with Jack Nicholson was done really, really well, I still think it would have been better to keep it with Two-Face because, the Joker never seemed to be bothered very much that he was disfigured. He seemed to be happy to be a clown
Yeah.
the entire time. Whereas, like, the whole point, part of the crux of Two-Face's character is that his disfigurement kind of pushes him over the edge of his insanity. I mean, he has like anger management problems, but it's his like inability to think that he'll ever have a normal life again, which is what sort of drives him completely insane. So they kind of, I don't know, I thought they undermined quite an important part of the Batman mythos.
Yeah. You know, Billy D. Williams was in that film.
Really?
As Harvey Dent.
He was Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm assuming he doesn't become Two-Face in that film. Then.
No, because the first one is just the Joker.
Right.
It's Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as Batman and the Joker. Two-Face doesn't turn up until Batman Forever, and was played by Tony Jones. Which, Batman Forever was pretty good, I thought, out of all of them. I don't like Michael Keaton as the Batman, so I think Val Kilmer is the one I lump for in Batman Forever.
Who was the other supervillain in the one with Two-Face?
Jim Carrey is the Riddler.
Yeah, that was kind of a.
Edward Nigma.
I I didn't think it was a very good film, to be honest. I think it was just sort of riding the Jim Carrey wave.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It got nominated for 3 Oscars, 1 Golden Globe, 1 Grammy,
God.
and then its theme tune, which is "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me" by U2, was nominated for a Razzie, which is the joke Oscars. It's quite funny. All of the Batman films, apart from the 1989 Batman, have all been nominated for at least 1 Razzie. Batman Returns. Danny DeVito, who played the Penguin, got nominated for worst supporting actor, the Razzie, but he didn't win. U2 got nominated for that song and they didn't win. And then Batman and Robin, the one with Mr. Freeze in it, it got nominated for Worst Director, Joel Schumacher, Worst Original Song, Billy Corrigan, for The End is the Beginning of Is the End, which is a cracking good song. Worst Picture, Worst Screenplay Couple for George Clooney and Christopher O'Donnell, Worst Screenplay, Worst Supporting Actor for Chris O'Donnell, Worst Supporting Actor for Arnold Schwarzenegger, Worst Supporting Actress for Uma Thurman, Worst Remake or Sequel, and Worst Reckless Disregard for Human Life and Public Property. None of which it won, but it did win Worst Supporting Actress for Alicia Silverstone. I just think, Christ, when you make a film, Tim Burton, no, Joel Schumacher even, where you get nominated for 9 Razzies, no, even 10 Razzies, and you only win 1 of them, it's probably kind of time to leave the franchise, and I'm really glad he did.
Yeah. Was it Alicia Silverstone Batgirl in that?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot she was in that.
Yeah, Batman and Robin was shit because the only thing I remember about that one is the fact that they had whatchamacallit, like Mr. Ice's or Dr. Freeze, Dr. Victor Fries. His name is Fries. You spell it Fries. Just because he's German, Austrian.
He's Dr. Fries, he's Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, why do you just call him something? Why Fries though?
I don't think you pronounce it Fries though. I think you pronounce it Freeze because he's
Austrian. How's it spelled?
Fries, Fries.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. That's Chip.
Exactly. But yeah, no, because that was Poison Ivy and Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze even, and there was that awful scene early on in the film where Batman and Robin are attacking Freeze's lair, and it was just like Batman on ice. Because they were all on ice skates, and it was this really sort of worse because you can Adam West Batman choreography in the fight scenes was funny, and you let it off because it was the 60s. But this is 1997, and they're like doing that sort of when you see a mid to high level production of fighting on a West End play, and obviously it's scripted. It looked like that, but on ice, so everything was even more theatrical. I would honest to God, I think the costumes involved tutus at one point, but that might just be me remembering it more gay than it was.
Wishful thinking.
It's always been a bit over the top. I mean, they managed to get a film out of Penguin as the supervillain, and in every incarnation of Penguin, I always thought his character was ridiculous because it has no basis in reality. I mean, I know it's Batman.
He's an arms dealer. That's all I got from it, and he has a ridiculous actual name.
Yeah, Oswald Cobblepot. But I know, Batman is supposed to be a superhero. Penguin just was too far away from reality for me to be able to take him seriously in any respect.
Christopher Walken was in that film, though.
Yes.
And that's always a thing to watch a film for, Christopher Walken.
Making this Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, God. If you haven't seen... what's it called? Hot Shots. No, not Hot Shots. Balls of Fury. That's the one. It's well worth a watch.
Even just for that line.
Christopher Walken organising a Mortal Kombat style ping pong tournament. And at one point screams at one of the contestants, "Come on, you're making me miss Antiques Roadshow." I can't do a Christopher Walken impression, but that was pretty awesome.
Sorry, got off topic. Is there a single incarnation where the Penguin is, because the Joker has sort of like in the comics he goes up and down with how intimidating he is, and in the Heath Ledger incarnation was a little bit scary, but the Penguin, whatever I've seen him in, read him in, there never seems to be a point where he was taken very seriously.
Yeah, I think probably the closest they got, just because of the amount of the effort they put in, was Danny DeVito, and he was still ridiculous. So.
I think the only reason he got the part, though, was because he's quite short. I don't rate him as an actor at all.
I think he's not bad.
Maybe that's just because I've been watching a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for the last couple of weeks, and he's just awful. So maybe I just.
I think they did a reasonably good job with what they had because in grounding it in realism, I think, because they had him controlling the city by running for mayor and using a sympathy vote, which
yeah, that's cool. That's how he did, isn't it? I haven't seen this film in so long.
Might work.
I think this is something I was thinking about when Charlotte just mentioned that Heath Ledger's Joker, is a frightening character, and the sort of first thing that jumped to mind was the fact because it's possible. And I think when people say that new Batman is gritty, new Batman is sort of vicious and things like that, well, I don't know, but I have been told that Batman is a pretty dark comic character as well. But I think the way he's portrayed and the way the villains especially are portrayed, like Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow as well, in the Nolan Batman films, it's been brought up to date, and it's been brought into a level where the lore, as in L-O-R-E, of Batman's villains is made to coincide with what is genuinely possible. And I think it's that level of realism as opposed to grittiness that makes it more frightening. That the Joker isn't a supervillain, he's just batshit bonkers. And Cillian Murphy's character as Scarecrow isn't a supervillain, he just has this hallucinogenic drug and a mask.
It's so intensely powerful.
Yeah, the fear gas. Is it fear?
Yeah, it's fear.
I think it's fear gas, yeah. And what's his name? He's in it for like 3 seconds. Zaz.
Zaz in it?
Zaz is in Batman Begins for like 3 seconds.
Is he? Who is he?
You only see him when after all the inmates break out of Arkham Asylum, sorry, not Arkham Asylum, the prison, he's one of the first ones in an orange jumpsuit. He looks a bit like Kane from Command & Conquer 3, like a bald head and a little goatee. And he's just running down the road at this helpless person, I think. He's literally very few seconds of him. But he is listed as Zaz, and people I know who had played Arkham Asylum, and then watched Batman went, holy shit, that must be the same guy. Looked it up and turned out to be him.
Wow.
It is Zaz. I think he has a longer character name than that.
No, that's his name.
He's covered in scars.
Yeah, he's a really good idea for a victim, and for a villain. And after my kids cartoon Batman binge, and then playing Arkham Asylum and seeing Zaz and wondering why he wasn't in there in any of the kids cartoons, and it's because he's the most brutal murderer you can think of. All his murders are trophies, and he self-harms to mark them, and he has this insatiable desire to kill. And I was like, oh, that's why it's not in a kids cartoon.
Hold your horses there. Hold your horses, because I think you may not have got this far in Arkham Asylum yet. And this isn't a spoiler. This isn't a spoiler. But one of the items you find, which reveals like a bio about a villain.
Yeah.
You start picking those up. Is in a prison cell, and it's a load of dates on the wall. It took me so long to find, and it's for a Batman villain of hilarious proportions. He's known as Calendar Man, and his actual name is like January Jones or something like that. Or January May or something. And January Jones is one of the Bond girls. But anyway, in his bio says something like a mysterious villain obsessed with dates of the year. He terrorizes Gotham on public holidays and bank holidays and shit like that. I was like, the fuck? You're scraping the barrel. I mean, come on. There was in the original comics, there was Catman. Right, who was Catwoman's brother, who had a giant car shaped like a cat, and that was more acceptable than a man who specifically targets Gotham on holidays. I just really. There was also a Batman villain that was just shades of colours. He was just the rainbow or something like that, and he was just
no, that was Batman himself. Briefly in the comics. There is a cover for one of the comics. I haven't been lucky enough to find it, but on the front cover of the comic, Robin's saying, "Why are you wearing a red suit, Batman?" He says, "I've got to wear a different colour one every single day."
Oh no, that must be something else, because I was reading a Cracked article of like the 6 most oddest Batman villains ever, and this one was just like a Hulk-sized character that was made of all the colours of the rainbow, and it was like my power of red is like laser beams, and green is my shield and stuff like that, and it was just the colours of the rainbow. But then again, there was also rumours that Simon Pegg was going to be starring in a action film called Ant-Man, based on the Marvel character Ant-Man. So I think as far as villains go in various comic situations, there's no limit really. Once you've named all of your characters with alliterating names like Peter Parker and stuff like that, Stan Lee just went a bit nuts and started making anything he could think of.
Okay, I can concede that that's probably slightly off-putting for people who don't know much about Batman to have villains like Calendar Man, because
it just makes me laugh. The fact that they included it in the game as well. I mean, like all the other ones are fairly, you've got Killer Croc and
relevant,
and Zaz and the Joker, obviously, and Riddler and stuff like that. They're big, and they've got something about them which is frightening. Nobody is frightened of calendars unless they're Brokeback Mountain themed or give you paper cuts.
But I think it's also kind of a real strength of Batman because there's a lot of
They can get away with it, and people still find it.
no, that you can have so many different villains because then you can choose to couple whatever you want. I mean, there's this there's this particular villain that's not very well known. At least I don't think he's very well known.
Batman hipster.
No, I just mean by like the people who don't know. He's not that. He doesn't come up very often. He's not like a Joker or a Riddler. I think his name's Arnold Wesker, and he's this ventriloquist. And he's got this puppet. Called
Yes. No, I know him.
Yeah, and he's got this puppet called Scarface.
Yeah.
Who
it's carved out of a tree from one of the hanging trees at a prison.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's like got all the dead spirits of all the people who got hung at the tree. Sorry, I didn't want to cut across you. He's in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that about him.
Yeah, that's the bio in Arkham Asylum.
But they actually go to quite a lot of effort to show how Scarface is this really sort of strong character, and how Arnold Wesker is so meek and feeble and completely under Scarface's control. And even whenever the ventriloquist is free, he's usually the boss of his own like small criminal gang, and all these huge muscled thugs are working under him and are reporting to Scarface. And it shows a lot of depth because every time Batman sort of brings him to justice and he gets separated from Scarface, Arnold Wesker is revealed to actually have a completely split personality, and he doesn't want to be around Scarface. Doesn't want to be breaking the law. He's literally being forced by someone else, and who he can hardly ever be free of. And when he's spent, sometimes there are stories where he spends some time in Arkham and is given, he's actually released because he served his time or whatever, and he starts to live a somewhat healthy life, and someone sort of starts to haunt him or stalk him by making him think that Scarface is calling him again. And it's really quite sad because he starts to sort of split apart the seams, and it's not any less than torture because he doesn't want to be controlled again. I thought it was a really interesting issue. And this is just like one random, quite small time villain for Batman.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But he has to talk now.
Sorry, I just Wikipedia'd Calendar Man just for lols. His name is Julian Gregory Day, so obviously Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar, Day. First appeared in 1958. He's in TV. Female variation named Calendar Girl appears in the new Batman Adventures. She wears a mask due to mental scars. Physically, she's still perfect, and plans crimes around the Four Seasons. Interesting.
Actually, I think
just like go and ice up your car.
Oh my god. He upgrades Calendar Man into Calendar King with the ability to conjure henchman versions of holiday icons like jack-o'-lantern monsters, Santa Claus-themed bikers, uber-patriotic Uncle Sams, and mutant Easter bunnies.
Okay, that's the antithesis of having the potential for deep supervillains.
Good grief.
Although I remember a storyline, fairly good storyline about this Calendar Woman character, because she thinks that she's sort of been she used to be in the limelight for some reason and has been sort of driven mad by public attention. Now she thinks she's ugly and hates everyone for it, and even though she remained completely beautiful.
Interesting. I think I was when I was playing the Arkham Asylum game, as my most recent delve into the Batman universe, is just sort of what I'm drawing on most from all the villains and things like that. One thing I thought about Batman, I've always sort of held in my mind about Batman stroke the DC universe over Marvel, is the fact that Marvel superheroes tend to be more fantastical and DC's tend to be more slightly realistic. And I think I've only ever really drawn that.
Superman.
Yeah, I know, but I don't really like Superman in any way, shape, or form. But that's only because I just don't like him. But Killer Croc irritated me because it's basically the DC version of the Hulk, as far as I can tell. But
Bane is supposed to be stronger than Killer Croc.
Okay, but Bane's supposed to be hyper intelligent, and Killer Croc Bane, because Bruce Banner is hyper intelligent as well. But Killer Croc irritated me because the first time you see him, he's being all compliant and being led around by some of the guards. And then he just disappears off, and then
he's not being compliant. He's screaming that he's going to eat Batman's flesh from his bones.
Oh, okay, but he's not raging and trying to kill Batman the first time you see him. But then,
Just verbal abuse, and that's fine.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I verbally abuse everybody I know and love, so.
Sticks and stones, Croc.
But like the condition is his entire character is based on a rare condition which is genuinely true, which from birth turns you into a lizard. Effectively, your skin starts to develop into scales. And most children born with it die very quickly, unfortunately. But Croc somehow survives and becomes this gargantuan monster, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know why I think that's more plausible than a vampire who sucks things dry through his hands, or a big game hunter whose superpower is the fact he has a beard, or a man who can stretch a lot because he once went into space. I mean, I don't know. With Batman's universe, I've always had the impression that it was more realistic, and Killer Croc kind of broke that impression.
No, I think there's still realism with Killer Croc because he was born that way, because it's just a mutation rather than him having sort of special powers.
Yeah, like Bane is steroids and hyper insanity for the Joker, hyper intelligence and whatever there's a technical condition for obsession with puzzles. I can't remember what it's called, but the Riddler's got it.
Yeah,
and things like that. They're all normal aspects as opposed to mutant plus like radiation plus insect plus bite equals superhero.
Yeah.
So if you think Killer Croc kind of ruined it, what's your opinion on the Justice League? Because Batman's universe as a separate universe is very realistic. Unfortunately, the Justice League, it's got the Martian Manhunter in it.
Thank God that the Justice League, as far as I'm concerned, only consists of 6 people, because I completely forgot the Martian Manhunter even existed. The Justice League of America, as far as I'm concerned, is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, and...
Whoa. You'll put Aquaman in there, but you won't put the Martian Manhunter?
I'm not saying he's better, I'm just saying the Justice League that I've been exposed to. I'm just saying that's the Justice League I've been exposed to. It's not involved the Manhunter.
The Justice League animated series actually does have a lot of the Martian Manhunter in, and he's done very well.
Like the Martian Manhunter.
He is a bit of a space gazer.
I'm in no way criticising him. I just want to say that.
I know.
I know nothing about him. I'm not saying he's better than anyone. I'm just saying I'd never considered him because I've never seen him, whereas I've seen everyone else.
The only problem you have when Batman leaves his own universe is they just have to make Batman's own powers, whatever human limitations they may have, just to be more and more extreme. Like the Martian Manhunter turns up in one of the final episodes of the Batman, and he chases him down for a while, and he does a pretty good job. He brings out the Batwing when the Martian Manhunter starts flying around, and then they have this like verbal argument about how long they can keep going without sleep and stuff, and then eventually they sort of reach a standstill, and they're just having a coffee in and the Martian Manhunter makes some passing reference to infrared, and Bruce Wayne makes some passing reference to infrared, and the Martian Manhunter wants to know how he already knows a little bit about Martian technology. And the way they explain it is that apparently Batman can, if he wanted to, have taught a college course on Martians because he's just so well read that he's like an expert on Martians.
So we're supposed to imagine that Wayne, is it Wayne Towers? Wayne Manors? What's his house called?
Wayne Manor, yeah.
Yeah, Wayne Manor has a wing that is just an entire library, and that Bruce Banner, apparently now, Bruce Wayne spends all day being a philanthropist, all night fighting Batman, and all the third part of the day reading books.
No, I think we're supposed to assume that in the first,
Because I have an image of him fighting crime with a Kindle at this point.
Awesome. Oh my god, that's the modern day Batman, really.
I'm out of charge!
I always liked the idea that Batman spent the first 2/3 of his life in this incredibly intense training for just decades.
A Rocky montage, yeah.
Yeah, and so he has this huge expansive knowledge base, and this just the best sort of physical training you can get is at the absolute peak for humans. But there's not enough time to do all that and learn about Martians. It sort of lost me there.
Maybe he's so rich he can buy more time.
What?
Maybe he's so rich he can buy more time. Everything is explained by the fact that he knows Morgan Freeman and has an infinite pot of money. That's not racist.
What's Morgan Freeman got to do with it?
He's Morgan fucking Freeman. He's head of the science division at Wayne Enterprises. He knows everything.
Best incarnation of Lucius Fox ever. I think mainly because I like Morgan Freeman. But yeah,
It was 2 weeks before Andy Dufresne said anything to me in Shawshank. Vagina boob. Sorry. So yeah, the inadequacies of Batman as a superhero outside of his universe, because
He
he
does-
has to be brought up to speed with people who actually have superpowers. He's just really pissed off and got money. There really isn't anything else to it, but he does it very well.
But
No,
he
no,
does.
no.
He does come out well of it in. There's a series called Justice League of America: Act of God, and all the superheroes lose their superhero powers, and Batman's just there going, "Come to me, bitches, come and learn."
I can imagine he's like got the biggest chip on his shoulder about that. You all said I wasn't one of you. Well, I've got a cowl that can see in the dark, and Superman, you still can't gel your hair properly. A fucking quiff irritates me. It's like a little slithery bit of I couldn't be arsed sticking to his forehead.
It's a little slithery bit of the American dream.
Slowly flapping against his face as he flies. Who's interested in the new Superman film? Who saw the old one? I still haven't seen it.
I saw the old one. It was.
Shit?
I didn't think it was very good. No, Lex Luthor was absolutely incredible as Lex Luthor. It made it worth watching. But basically, Superman's weakness is kryptonite. Spoilers. Superman's weakness is.
I don't think it's necessarily spoilers so much as a kind of question of national security. You can get arrested for this in America if SOPA pushes through.
Thank God it's been
Not
shut down
specifically
since we last cast.
Kryptonite. Not specifically the kryptonite, but this is actually a spoiler about the film. It's supposed to be his weakness, and Superman just sort of overcomes it by trying really hard, and that's not a good sort of way for Superman to defeat something, because that literally means he's invincible, and there's no tension there at all. It wasn't very good.
What was that film called, by the way? Because I can't. What was
It's called
it?
Superman Returns.
Thank you, Superman Returns.
It's after
Brandon Roth, that was his name. Yeah.
it's after he's gone to look for Krypton. So.
Did you say Lex Luthor was brilliant as Lex Luthor? Because you realise Lex Luthor was Kevin Spacey.
Sorry, I meant to say Kevin Spacey was really good as Lex Luthor.
Oh my God, Marlon Brando, Cal Penn. Jesus, will you stop being in everything? That's ridiculous. I haven't seen this film. I probably should watch this. But more importantly, in an animated film called Superman/Doomsday, released in 2007 in the UK, which is an animated original movie, Adam Baldwin plays Superman/Dark Superman.
No way.
Yeah, it's also got James Masters as Lex Luthor,
Wow.
and John DiMaggio as Toyman. That's Bender.
Oh, okay.
Which
I
is,
need
it's
to
also
see
got
it.
Kevin Smith in it. What is going on?
Who does Kevin Smith play?
Grumpy Man. But more importantly, Nolan North has done Superman at some point in his career. But what hasn't Nolan North done? Everything. Anyway, no, the point I was going to make was with bringing up the newer film. Henry Cavill, that's Jim Caviezel, whatever his name is. I think he looked pretty good as a Superman. The rest of the cast I take issue with. Amy Adams can just no. As Lois Lane, I never would have seen that in a million years. Lawrence Fishburne is in it, which is pretty awesome. Kevin Costner, I didn't know he was still alive. Russell Crowe as Jor-El, I do not see that in any way, shape or form working. But more importantly, fucking Michael Shannon as General Zod. I got excited about this when I first saw it. I think Michael Shannon is an amazing actor. I love him to absolute death when he doesn't have stupid hair. And if you look at his IMDb page, his like main photo is him with really stupid hair, and then the next photo is him with a nice, like, I don't know, not crew cut but cropped hair, and he looks exceptionally cool. For those of you who aren't aware who he is, he's Agent Nelson Van Alden in the Boardwalk Empire series. He's been in quite a few other things as well, but that was sort of the thing what made him famous, to me at least anyway. Like, he was in 8 Mile, and Vanilla Sky, and Pearl Harbor, and Bad Boys 2, and Groundhog Day. But I'll stop talking now. Sorry, I'm just getting a little bit of a fanboy crush going on for Michael Shannon. I do think he's exceptional. Alex, you remember that one episode of Boardwalk Empire I made you watch the end of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the guy we watched most of him.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that guy. He's going to be a good General Zod. I'm looking forward to when they put him in a thin piece of plastic and throw him into space. God, that was stupid. I think that's another reason why I dislike Superman. He needs an ice palace to think.
He doesn't need an ice palace to think. He just wants an ice palace to think.
If you could have an ice palace with a Mexican maid in order to look after it, you would, wouldn't you?
Why
He
would it
needs a
have to
nice
be a
palace
Mex-
to talk to his dead father. We're back on Batman yet.
No.
Nope.
Don't you think the Wii U is the stupidest name for a console ever?
Yeah, I thought Wii was a weird name for a console. I don't know where they're going with Wii U.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's Wii Ultimate or something like that, or Super Happily Family Fun Wish Show, OK, Super Prize Win Ultimate.
I think the subtitle of it is, "Dear God, we need some money, guys. Please buy it."
Quick,
Twitter-
buy all the remakes of Zelda and Mario and Metroid that we're going to churn out. Hey, Alex, are you going to get a Wii U?
No.
Can you get the Donkey Kong game that comes with a drum peripheral then?
I said no.
No, but on the Wii.
Oh, right. What, you mean Donkey Konga?
I don't know, but you know on Smash Bros. Melee when Donkey Kong uses his Smash Ball move, which is to play the drums.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to get that.
But it's a Wii. You have to get all the peripherals for it.
No, you don't. Stay well away from the Wii balance board. I'm not going to touch a set of drums.
Here is a square piece of plastic which will tell you you're simultaneously shit and a good person for wasting money on. For fail of analogy.
I thought its entire purpose was to tell people that they're fat because there's like a weight and balance measuring thing on every game it's involved with.
It's so funny. I was listening to a podcast earlier, Midlife Gamer podcast. Have a little check them out on iTunes. And they did their retail top 10. And in the top 10 this week, there's 3 Wii Fit dance games. And this isn't their list. This is the retail list for the week. So there's Zumba 2, and Just Dance 3, and they're all in the top 10. That's not just Wii games. That's all the games, which I just baffle me.
Wow.
Speaking of games that baffle me, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire was the most sold game on the Game Boy Advance ever.
How
It
does that
disturbs me.
baffle you?
That because it was the only Game Boy Advance Pokemon game. I always thought there were 2 generations. There have been 3 generations on the DS, 1 generation on the GBA, and 2 generations on the original Game Boy Color.
It disturbs me how popular Pokemon is.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
Pokemon is amazing. Pokemon is nearly a perfect game.
Isn't?
And I look forward to the next installment of Pokemon, which will be coming out in a year and a bit's time, which is a quote-unquote Final Fantasy style RPG.
Oh my god.
I'm literally wet behind the ears for that.
I thought you didn't like Final Fantasy.
I don't, but I like Pokemon. Dude, I bought Pokemon Snap, right? That's the level of addiction.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel
Pretty much.
and digging a hole to China.
To be honest, you might as well have just dosed me up on child aspirin, give me a disposable camera and pushed me into a park. I would have had the same amount of fun. Good old Pokemon franchise. I had Pokemon Pinball on my Game Boy as well.
That was a fun game.
I think I've still got it, actually.
It had nothing to do with Pokemon, but it was still a fun game.
We had what was effectively a Pikachu pedometer. Like, you know, they measure how many steps you take. Well, this one kind of just the amount you shook it was how happy Pikachu was. But,
The complete opposite of how to raise a child.
Oh, the
But,
secret to the Schwartz merchandising.
the problem is that we didn't walk very far, and there is a limit to how much walking you can do. So you end up just sort of shaking it and getting wrist ache.
Yeah, I did the same thing with my Digimon game.
Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver came with a pedometer, and I've got it downstairs somewhere.
Who actually walks around in long grass while they're playing Pokemon? It doesn't add any realism.
I just strung a piece of cotton through the loop on the back of it, and then attached it to my table and just swung it. It worked the same. I sat at my desk and walked my pedometer. It was because my DS had no battery, and I'd ordered a new charge cable off eBay, and it was like it'll be 7 to 8 million years before it arrives. I was like, but the game's here, I need to play it. And you have to walk a certain number of steps till you can then catch Pokemon on Poker Walker, it's called. And then you catch them on Poker Walker, and then when you start your game, you can transfer them straight to your PC. I was like, oh, I want to catch Poliwag, because you can't get them until like after the 4th gym on Heart Gold. And I wanted one, so I caught one.
Like putting a dog on a treadmill.
Pretty much. The ironic thing was, I was doing quite a lot of walking at that point, so I could probably have just taken it with me. But I didn't want to be the sort of person who has a car accident and then gets taken to hospital and has the contents of his pockets put in a bag, and one of them is a big Pokeball. Because that would have
be
been
the best thing ever.
one phone, one set of keys, Pokeball. I wish Pokemon was real. Because effectively the entire educational system in the world of Pokemon is you're 7 years old, you don't have to go to school anymore, you can fuck off into the world and basically have cockfights, and no one dies, and everybody's nice to you, and there are clones of hot women in every town.
Yeah.
It's a weird place.
It is a very weird place. Incidentally, the guy who created Pokemon, whose name I can never remember, spent 15 years trying to make it, and it was a vision of his. He was obsessed with having to make this. He was like, this is going to make me millions. It's going to make me a millionaire. It really, really is. And everybody laughed at him, and everybody told him that it was going to be shit. And then he finally managed to convince Nintendo to make it, and they made Pokemon Red and Blue on the Game Boy Advance in, I think it was 97, something like that, 98 maybe. And it was like, nothing happened for a couple of months, and then suddenly every single person on the planet had it. And like the smug face he must have pulled around the water cooler the next day in his shitty little office job, he was clearly still trying to hold down whilst it was making all the millions, and be like, so what did you do over the weekend? Oh, went saw my parents, went out for a meal with a guy. I made $78 billion or something ridiculous like that. And then I made Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap is like along the same lines as Rachel Black. Is it Rachel Black? I've forgotten her name now.
Rebecca Black.
Rebecca Black, there we go. Rebecca Black and the Nicolas Cage film Knowing as things that I wish never existed. That's a lie. I enjoyed throwing apples at Pikachu and hitting him in the face. The logic was not there. There was no premise for that game whatsoever. Nothing made sense. It was just... Oh, I'm sorry. I could rant about that game for ages. It's less than 4 feet away from me, and I hate it, but I will not throw it out. We're talking about Batman, not Pokemon. I'm sorry.
This is either going to be a nightmare for you to edit, or we're just not going to be able to use it.
So, Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to talk about Batman, or should I just stop recording?
No, don't stop recording. Also, don't stop believing. Don't stop the music
no,
either.
No.
Don't stop me now. That's another one.
So yeah,
Bat gadgets are just hilarious. I think they've been distilled down to the classics that are pretty cool now, as opposed to the aqua repellent rack, which contains tuna, shark, whale, and I think swordfish repellent sprays in the back of the Batcopter.
The swordfish is the most fatal of all fish.
It is indeed. The marlin, which is a variety of swordfish, is actually one of the fastest animals on the planet.
Oh.
It rivals the cheetah. Definitely it's the fastest thing in the ocean.
Yeah, the problem is you couldn't really race them, could you?
Top Gear raced a Formula 1 car and a motorbike.
Yes, but they're still both on roads.
A boat isn't.
they also raced an F1 jet and a Bugatti Veyron.
You just said. Did you say boat?
Yeah, I
Did you
said
say
boat, bike, and Formula 1 car. The boat shat lost. It was ridiculous. It basically didn't move. It had a running start as well, and it was about a third of the speed. To be honest, they also raced a Porsche 911 and a VW Beetle, but they dropped the VW Beetle off a helicopter. The race was a straight mile. The Beetle fell for a mile, and the 911 drove for a mile, and the Beetle won.
So yeah, Batman gadgets.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because there've been some gobshite ones, like gobshite so bad that Austin Powers gadgets look funny, like a penis pump enlarger, and then there've been like the refined ones, that incredibly awesome gel detonator thing from the tower scene in I think it's Hong Kong in the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He fires like a time detonator in a globule of gel that then sticks to the glass on the building. That's very cool.
Yeah. See, the sort of scale of Bat gadgets is when they're really camp and ridiculous, and there's just no way he would ever have them. I dislike, but when there's sort of like a set standard array of gadgets which he could feasibly fit on his belt and he uses over and over again,
like the Batarang, the bat grab, things like that.
Yeah, and the little sort of bat grenades which make smoke so we can escape. Those I like, and if there's like a little bit of exposition describing him like creating or finding or needing this particular gadget for a particular reason, then that's fine. But there's like episode from the Adam West series where they're climbing a building and he gets out the bat hook, sticks it with a sucker to the wall, and then places the steel gate which they've just cut off onto the wall to protect the citizens of Gotham on the pavement below. It's ridiculous.
That's insane.
So yeah, there needs to be at least exposition for Batman gadgets, and they need to feasibly be able to fit on his belt for them to work, I think.
Yeah, it's not like that shit book with all the crap people in it that has never made any money or anything, where that silly bin just has a bag with no bottom.
Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit, I'd forgotten Mary Poppins does the same thing. Sorry, that incredibly amazing, beautiful actress Julie Andrews, who has a magical bag full of mysteries and wonder that then that bitch Hermione Granger copies. Sorry. This thing that I don't get right.
I get a lot of hate for this episode for so many reasons.
This is the thing I don't get. With that bag, if it's like bottomless, how did she get things out of it? Because does gravity not work in there? Because when she puts something in, surely it'll fall to the bottom. But if there's no bottom, how did she then reach to the bottom to get something out?
She was Alexia, Charles.
God, you're nerding so hard now.
I don't think Mary Poppins did.
No, Mary Poppins was just, I'm Julie Andrews, I'm very British. And then everything worked out fine.
It was just beautiful magic.
Yes, those are lovely, but that doesn't quite answer our question.
You know Margaret could be having sex right now. Yes, but let's not.
Almost.
Almost.
Making fun of J.K. Rowling's books. I think it's
Yeah,
safe
but
to
making
say
fun of J.K. Rowling's books is kind of like an internet tradition now. Oh my
I-
gosh,
I
it's so totally ripped off
say-
Stephanie Meyer.
we've lost all 2 of our listeners then. By the end of this episode. Yeah.
So Batman,
I think we should do the bit that was going to be the point, and then that way I can put the bit that was going to be the point at the beginning, and then put all the stuff that came after it afterwards.
what was
And that
Yeah,
way it'll
point?
seem like we started off with a point and then got off topic, rather than we started off topic and then just kept saying Batman.
The mayor of Gotham City in Batman Forever was played by none other than, and if either of you, I know both of you know who he is, one of you because you've been watching him recently, and the other one because you watched a lot of this program when you were younger. Okay, so here comes like a little quiz thing. See if you can get him in less than 5 guesses between you, okay? I'll give you some clues about who he is. He's quite old.
Oh, well, that narrows it down. Clearly
Yeah.
it's Gandalf.
He's quite old. His first name his initials are R and then A. First name R, second name A. He was in a Star Trek series. In that Star Trek series, his character name began with O and had 3 letters.
Dude, these aren't clues. These are just letters.
Alex.
Yeah, I know the guy's name from Star Trek, but I don't know his actor's name.
Yeah, do you know who I mean then? Who do I mean, Alex?
You mean Odo?
I do mean Odo. From which series?
Something 9?
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space 9. Yeah, the
Yeah.
one that I didn't watch because it was budget.
Yeah, the one that was shit. The one was basically a sitcom. Yes, Charlotte, you know him as Paul Lewiston from
No, I don't.
from Boston Legal.
Which one's he?
Paul Lewiston, the asshole, the one who hates everyone.
That's like 90% of people. Is he James Spader? No. Is he William Shatner? No. Do I know him? No.
Okay, we'll go through all the other characters then until you do know him. He's the semi senior guy who isn't actually a named partner in Crane Pool.
The one who's barely ever in it. He just kind of comes and goes, well, I morally disapprove of this, and
Yes.
then leaves.
And his eyes are really close together. His name's Rene Auberjones.
I think we're going to need some more bird calls.
No, I was thinking of the other guy, the younger guy that's all like,
Oh,
well, I
Brad?
morally disapprove. Yeah,
The one who doesn't like lesbians.
yeah.
Say it with me.
Why does he
Lesbians.
like that?
Just doesn't like lesbians.
It's one of the cases he's in. This woman is suing her ex-lover because apparently her ex-lover fakes being a lesbian in order to steal all of her business clients. And Brad
Right.
can't get on with lesbians because he thinks she's lying, so he tries to sleep with her. Oh, Boston Legal, you're so good. Yeah.
Should we just say the many layers of Batman or
Batman
the,
is a cake.
The multifaceted Batman. Or
Cake man.
something.
Batman,
Shut up.
Batman is an onion. No,
parfait.
onion.
And Batman is the most delicious thing in the whole goddamn planet.
You ain't never meet anybody who say they don't like no Batman. Yeah, I watched Beaver last night. Wow.
What's Beaver?
Mel Gibson film.
It's got a beaver in it. It's got 2 beavers in it.
It's got Josie Foster's Beaver in it as well. It's it's pretty weird. Alex, have you not heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Hipster. It was written by Mel Gibson, directed by Jodie Foster, starring both of them. It's also got Anton Yelchin in it and Jennifer Englesbury, I think her name is. And basically, he's the head of a toy company and gets depressed for a couple of years and gets really drunk, tries to kill himself, and wakes up the next morning with a beaver hand puppet stuck on his arm. And he starts talking in an Australian accent through the puppet, and then the puppet runs his life and sort of treats it like therapy, and it helps him get better. And then, spoiler alert, something happens later on in the film, and then the puppet doesn't help him as much as it used to. And then it was really like quirky and weird at the beginning and
It sounds a
entertaining.
bit like
Then it
that
gets really
film.
dark.
It's starting to sound really quite a lot like that film where the guy grows a second head and the head tries to take over his own head, and it's got the actor who was in With Nell and I.
Oh,
Richard E. Grant.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what the title's called though.
Spice Girls movie. He was in that too.
Did you ever see that Richard E. Grant show on BBC with, I can't remember what his name was, but basically it was like a 15-minute short of him taking the piss out of TV chefs.
Yes, you said you'd link me to that.
It
We
was
didn't.
so funny. It was just like, and now I'm going to take my wife's hand and she's going to gently cup the bottom of this potato as I embarrass the peel off it, gently rubbing and massaging with my peeler. You see the peels being embarrassed as it gently falls succulently, and it's basically just as much different descriptive words as you can throw into one sentence about a fucking potato. But it was done in a very satirical manner, so it was funny. I can't remember what it's called, so I'm going to IMDb it now. Posh Nosh, there it is. Simon Marchmont, and it's Arabella Weir, who I'm sure I've heard of before. Stars David Tennant.
I want it.
Arabella Weir was in Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, the Doctor Who episode. She played Billis. She was Anna in Skins.
Who was Anna?
I don't know. She's been in the Fast Show a lot.
That's right.
Harry Enfield stuff. Les Girls, The Corner House. Yeah, Posh Nosh. Let's whack out some YouTube videos of Posh Nosh because that shit was hot.
Wait, are you going to be watching YouTube videos now?
No, I'm just gonna like buffer it and link it to you. Oh, it's gonna make good watching. Oh dear. So Batman. Right. Okay. Here's
That was the creaking noise of someone leaving, I think.
that was my chair.
I was going to say, it's the sound of our one leftover listener going, oh, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I think this tail end of the podcast. If we aired this one unedited, this would be the sort of you've lost the remote, haven't you? Anyway, I was going to say Batman related. How about as a nice way of summing up or culminating or finishing or whatever? We all say one thing we really like about Batman. Like, my name is Ross, and I like the fact Batman has a cape. Not many heroes that are cool have capes, because Superman is a gay.
Okay, yeah, I suppose that's not a bad idea. Doesn't mean I want to go first.
Well, you have to. You spoke next. That's how the world works.
Okay, I like that.
It doesn't have to be as childish as mine, by the way. And if you don't
I
do
know.
one childish, I will want to re-record mine.
I'm not going to do a childish one. I like that Batman is an anti-hero. I think that makes him a better character overall, and it's why I think that Superman's a goody two-shoes douchebag. He's not very interesting to me.
What do you mean when you say anti-hero?
No, anti-hero sort of works for good, but does sort of potentially nefarious things to do so, and has a
I'm
sort
going
of
to say nefarious.
Yeah. See, I had this argument with my sister the other day because she's been watching the Batman series, and I was like, well, yeah, but Batman would do if he had to kill someone, if he was in a situation. I get the feeling that if Batman had to kill someone for the good of the many, if he had to kill Spock, say, no, but he would.
But that's
Whereas
just one
Superman,
rule.
yeah, but
Never
that's
kill
the thing.
anyone. That's what makes
stop
him
talking
different.
over each other.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that's the thing with Batman. I always get the feeling that why do I feel like he would go further than Superman would then? Because it's still built into his kind of credo. You know, I won't kill anyone. I will justice and not necessarily the
Does-
American way. But
He does do bad things. I mean, the whole point about his drive is that he gave in to vengeance, this thing which he shouldn't give into,
And fear.
Fear?
I'm just going on the beginning of the Batman Begins film. He's afraid of bats. He embraced his fear and used the fear as a weapon. I
Okay.
was just saying that's not very heroic.
Yeah, I suppose so. That's his it's sort of quite a underhanded thing to do to get the upper hand in battle. But like it's not only that he's sort of brutalizing his parents' murderers night after night to try and seek this revenge that he can never get, but he is breaking the law. He's a vigilante. He's not an entirely good guy.
yeah, but so is Spider-Man.
I was just going to say Spider-Man does the same.
Um,
The first thing Spider-Man does is find Uncle Ben's killer. I'm going from the first Tobey Maguire film. And then
This is the weird.
so-
Well, this is the weird thing because if you look at it, Spider-Man and Batman both have the same kind of general origin story. You know, someone they loved died, so they start fighting crime. You know, Spider-Man got bitten by a spider somewhere along the way, but it was slightly irrelevant because he didn't start fighting crime until after Uncle Ben died. So, but the thing is, you ask anyone and they will always say Batman is a lot darker than Spider-Man. And it's just interesting to try and understand why.
I postulate that it's because he's older. Because
no, that's irrelevant.
Bruce Wayne, I don't think it is. Bruce Wayne, let me hear me out before you tell me it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Bruce
sorry.
Wayne is in my mind, in all the films and all the incarnations, he's been in early 30s by the time he starts in the story. For example, Christian Bale's character always strikes me as early 30s. Val Kilmer and George Clooney and Mike Keaton, they always seem around about that age. Spider-Man has always been 17, 18, and he's always had that, I don't want to say carefree attitude about it, but he's not world weary like Batman is. Batman always seems to be frowning, not in physical expression, but just in his demeanor. He's doing things, and it just comes across as a lot heavier emotionally, as opposed to Spider-Man is a lot more visually. One's dark, one's bright, one's at night, one's in the day. But I think that's another point about it. But I think the age thing was important because Spider-Man is Peter Parker. As the phrase my dad always used, young thrusting man in the world. It's all sort of still. I don't want to use the phrase world weary, and I don't want to use the phrase like downtrodden by the world's experiences and things like that. But that's kind of what I keep going back to. Like Batman's all serious and real about the shit that's going down, and Spider-Man's like, lol, I can crawl up walls.
I wouldn't necessarily say that's because of age. It is because of their position in the world, though.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the difference, Bruce Wayne owns his own, business and mansion, and yes, it's because he was born into a small fortune, but the fact is he kind of has a life set up, and Batman is on top of that, whereas Spider-Man, it's a lot more tied in together. You know, Peter Parker and Spider-Man, they're growing up at the same time. He doesn't really know who he is as a person, let alone as a superhero, whereas Batman seems already established. You know, and the fact that he has a sidekick, Batman has a sidekick, kind of goes to say, no, look, I am what's the word I'm trying to think of?
I am of fatherhood age.
Yeah,
Mufasa.
yeah, exactly.
Would you say Black Cat is Spider-Man's sidekick?
No, they're sort of equals.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. As you were just saying that, Charlotte, something popped into my mind as well. The thing that about the age thing as well, and the situation in which Spider-Man comes of his powers and Batman as well. It's very much a case of Batman is 9, whatever his age is. He's not Batman at that point, obviously. Bruce Wayne is 9. His parents get shot outside the opera, and then stuff in a Rocky montage, and then here's Batman, Scourge of the Night. Whereas with Spider-Man, it's taking photos of a pretty girl, get bitten by a spider, then the really, really cool music from the 1998 TV show kicks in. You'll know what I mean. And then suddenly he's Spider-Man. Whereas in the Batman sort of, Batman himself is already established in most storylines when we come to him. He's already established. He's already old. He's not gone through the coming of age thing. He's just there. He's gone from child to Batman. Whereas with Spider-Man, the majority of people reading the comics and watching the films will be of the age of Spider-Man at the time, of Peter Parker, and it's so much more relatable. I think the fact that Batman isn't relatable to me in any way, shape or form, he's just, the age thing is what becomes interesting. I think that's what gives him the sort of distance and sort of mysteriousness, if that's even a word, mystery even.
I think he is relatable, but it's because of his emotions. I get that people have a lot more connection with Spider-Man because of the age thing, but the reason Batman is sort of more ruthless than Spider-Man is, even though he doesn't take lives, is because he wants to do whatever the cost to catch the criminals, because his creation, his origin story was sort of forced upon him. He was a victim of the people who didn't respect the law, and Spider-Man was just sort of infected by something completely beyond his control, which you can't blame. So he doesn't really have any hatred for it. He's doing it for a motivation purely to help people, not to get revenge. So he seems less inclined to sort of inflict pain for his own.
We keep mentioning this point that Batman refuses to kill, but I'm having a hard time finding a superhero who does kill other than Iron Man. I think it's just because Batman makes a deal about it.
Quite a lot of superheroes kill, but they just never explicitly say so.
There's killing henchmen, and then there's killing supervillains. I mean, Batman always ties them up, sends them to prison, and they get out. Spider-Man doesn't really kill anyone.
Batman's one of his core aspects is not killing people. But
that's what I'm saying. He makes a point of it. It's a thing that Batman never kills. I'm just saying, as you said, they never really explain, or they never really sort of explicitly draw attention to when another superhero kills someone. But I'm just saying, because of that, I couldn't really tell you anyone who.
Well, I know Thor kills people because it's part of the original magic of Odin's enchantment on Mjolnir, that to have is part of the power of Thor, because Superman once tried to pick up Thor's hammer and couldn't because he would never take a life.
Oh, right. That's cool. I don't like Thor's new hair, Chris Hemsworth's new hair. I'm looking at my cover of Empire and Alex, remember my hair at the end of sixth form?
Not vaguely.
Short length, blonde.
Come out the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like that, but with a side parting. And also Chris Evans still looks like a tool. Sorry, completely off topic.
So, what were we talking about? Batman's
We're saying
Batman.
the Batmans. And the difference is
Batman's darkness,
distance, darkness. Yeah.
I just mean that he would do whatever it takes and to get the job done, whereas I think Spider-Man would be a lot more wary of it. Can I cite this section of an episode that I think really highlights it, because it kind of is Batman and Robin are both chasing down this one robber. He's kind of like a small-time goon, and they chase him into his building. Robin follows him up the stairs, and when they open the door to his apartment, his wife and kid are there. Robin's kind of shocked and taken aback, and he just stands in the doorway, and the kid comes up to him with this little ray gun and goes, "I'll protect you, Daddy." Zap zap. Robin doesn't move and doesn't go for this criminal. And then Batman swings in, smashes through the window, and grabs the guy by the neck up against the wall. And you then see the kid holding onto his mother, crying. Robin is trying to tell Batman to stop. He doesn't stop. He says, the quicker he gives us a name, the quicker we can leave. And Robin just thinks, fuck this, I'm out of here. And then they later on in the episode they see this guy, and this is like a long time later, and he says, I had a run in with the Batman one time, really taught me to get my act together. I've got a job at Wayne Industries now. Mr. Wayne's a really nice guy. He's never too busy to stop and ask me about my kid. And like that was Batman's way of kind of validating his actions. But I think there was kind of this sort of sick self-indulgence, because he really didn't give a shit about the guy or his family, and he was basically doing what happened to him when he was a kid to this guy's son, because he didn't understand any of it and he couldn't protect his dad.
But it's like the idea that Bruce Wayne and Batman are two very separate people.
Like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, because they are effective. Like, there's no kind of crossover. In the very first, I don't know how well it carries throughout the comic, because I've read a lot of the early ones, not many of the later ones. But in the first one, he does kind of cultivate this image of a millionaire playboy, and as far as I'm aware, he does that in the film as well. And he's like, oh yeah, I've got all my money, and I'm just going to lounge around in my massive mansion, and I'm not going to do anything at all.
Into a swimming pool of it like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, you know, he's got this public persona, and it's like he keeps the two sides of himself very separate. It's not as though they are the same person. They just happen to be wearing different glasses, like Superman.
But
I don't really know what point I'm making.
Does that mean it doesn't matter what Batman does because Bruce Wayne can make up for it? Is that?
Thank you for bringing back to my point. No, it's not that it doesn't matter what Batman does because Bruce Wayne makes up for it. It's that it's like what they say in the film. You know, it's the hero that Gotham needs and deserves. He's doing what he thinks is best for the city rather than what he thinks is best for
morally.
Yeah,
he's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
He's a little evil in order to deal with the big evils. That's the whole point of Batman. Starts off as Commissioner Gordon's ally and friend, and then he's forced to disown him and sort of call him an outcast and, you know, a threat to Gotham because of the collateral damage that he caused in his feud with the Joker at the end of throughout the Dark Knight. Which is why in the trailer for The Dark Knight Rises, the whole smashing of the light thing. I understand what you're saying. The whole anti-hero aspect, I think I can see sort of what Alex was getting at now in this, because is that line, that Nolan film line, which says, I'm not the hero that Gotham needs, I'm the one I can't remember what it is, but it needs it or deserves, one or the other. It needs one.
I'm not the hero it deserves, but I'm the one it needs.
Okay.
I think.
I think needs.
Okay, one of us needs to Wikipedia this.
It's not important. What's important is the fact that during his time as the Dark Knight of Gotham, because that was the whole point of the name of the film, is Harvey Dent was the White Knight. He was the official. He was the by the books DA who was going to sort out all the criminals and shut down Falcone and put them all in jail. That was the whole point of him. Whilst Batman ran around doing the grunt work, being the necessary evil, because he was a faceless person, i.e. Bruce Wayne's alter ego, he could get away with doing all the murders, doing the bad murders, and beating everyone up and things like that. And then all he has to do is pop the cowl off and the person disappears into thin air. And nobody apart from Ra's al Ghul knows who he is. So Ra's al Ghul's dead in a building, burning to death. Or is he? I know what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense? It's the fact that you're allowed to, because he doesn't technically exist, you can pin all of the stuff that needs to be done that nobody wants to do on him, because at the end of the day you just take the cape off and he doesn't exist anymore. So he's not responsible for his actions.
Yeah, I get that, but I just think that makes that Batman's character so much more interesting because that's not a good enough excuse, and yet Bruce Wayne uses that. He just sort of doesn't. He just sort of erases everything, every sort of modicum of guilt he might have had from anything he does as the Batman. It's like he's got a kind of sort of split personality himself.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking. He's able to compartmentalize it very well.
That sort of goes along with the sort of the whole gothic theme of it as well. It's very sort of bluntly implied in the name Gotham. But the Kat told me about the origins of the word gothic.
Yes,
it's supposed to be scary because it's so close to home.
Yes,
and Batman is like this sort of warped man because he's sort of half man, half bat, and if his nature is sort of only half human, Bruce Wayne, then that's sort of.
It's a very clear allegory, as we've already said, for Jekyll and Hyde.
Wicked. I like that.
I have a problem with the Jekyll and Hyde stories because we read the books in year 10, and then every single instance I've ever seen of Jekyll and Hyde has just been completely and utter batshit wrong compared to the book. And it's just one of those things that there have been so many instances of Jekyll and Hyde now that people don't believe what's in the books anymore. Like the the TV, film, whatever versions of Jekyll and Hyde or reimaginings, things like that, are so different from what it was in the book that it's become bigger and more widely accepted that it's a case of Banner and the Hulk as opposed to Dr. Jekyll and then a small, ugly penguin-like midget.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just funny as fuck. I just find it entertaining that one person makes a film. Well, like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, for example.
Which one came first? Was it League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or Van Helsing?
Van Helsing came first, I'm pretty sure. They may well have been within a year or two of each other, though.
Yeah.
But those are the two Jekyll and Hydes that jump to mind.
Yeah.
But no, Jekyll and Hyde is the Hulk. Jekyll and Hyde it can also be said to be Batman as well. It can also be said to be Iron Man to an extent.
Actually, if you ever saw the old Disney animated film, well, half animated film, The Page Master, there was a Jekyll and Hyde in that, and he was still normal human size, just an evil bastard when he was Jekyll.
Fair enough.
But that was in the 90s, so by the way, it was originally not the hero we deserved, but the hero we needed. So yeah.
Well, I just loved that image of a really, really overweight guy dressed as Batman with a parachute on his back, jumping out of a plane. Says, "I am the hero that Gotham deserves."
Yeah, me too.
Right, do we think we're just about done?
Yeah, I think we actually made a point now.
Yeah, it took us like 4 hours, but we made a single point.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to the If It Moves Critique It podcast. If you would like to, I assume you've already found us, so if you could do us a big favour and share us with your friends, family, slave, gimps you keep locked in the basement, whatever. Make sure you subscribe to us via the iTunes link at the bottom of our podcast page.
Yes, I felt so validated when I realised you could do it through iTunes. It feels so real.
Yeah, it automatically downloaded the episode for me today, and I was like, oh, look, there's Alex's face on my iTunes. So, yeah, if you're listening to this through iTunes and you don't know the website, it is ifitmovescritiqueit, all one word, .podomatic, PODOMATIC.com. There is also an official Facebook page for If It Moves Critique It podcast, so get on that, and we'll be posting all the updates and things like that through that. You can give us feedback, send us emails, ask us questions, ask us to do things. We will
send us hate mail.
Yeah, there's that too. Want to mail us any, I don't know, undergarments because you like us that much, then that's also A-okay. Whereabouts on the internet can we find any of your work, Alex?
Yeah, that doesn't exist yet.
I'm going to keep asking you every time just in case you miraculously have...
It's okay, I'm a lot closer to finishing up the first .text version of If It Moves Critique It. So.
Awesome. You can find more of my stuff at Too Short to Dance, that's TOO short, T single O, dance.blogspot.com.
Why don't you just say it's down on the favourite links? Look to your right.
It's on the favourite links, but I like to tell people anyway because I like saying it. So yeah, those are periodical, I'm going to say periodical because I'm not very regular with them, slightly entertainingly comic reviews of various films and games. You can also follow me on Twitter, just at Rossage99, that's ROSSAGE 99, no spaces or underscores, or add me on Facebook. So yeah, that's me done.
I still exist. That's about all I got.
You do indeed exist. She's our lovely editor. We shan't ever piss her off lest she edits us completely out of various episodes, and then we just have 28 minutes of disjointed Charlotte saying things because there's nothing for us to reply to because we pissed her off so much she's edited us out of it. That'll be entertaining.
Very easily do.
She could. She is the decibel fascist. I think there's nothing left to do but sign off.
So thank you for listening and do return.
Yes, do come back, please. We'll die if you don't. We all need we need kidneys.
I have kidneys.
She does.
You guys.
She has 2 functioning kidneys. I'm coming over with a rusty spoon now to claim one. Alex, do you want the right or the left?
Whichever's bigger.
Overcompensating, are we?
Yeah, with kidneys.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think bigness and kidneys are the thing that you want.
Anyway, yeah. So thanks for listening and all that jazz. I've been Ross. The other ones have been.
Oh, Alex. Hello.
Goodbye, I think you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And the other one, she's not talking now because I mentioned kidneys. Charlotte, you going to say goodbye? No, she's
I never want it to end.
This is only the end of the recording. Life will go on afterwards.
No, it won't.
Well, I'm going to stop recording in about 5 seconds. So, yeah. Bye.